Hi everyone. Wanted to say if you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to do our tarot meditation. So we are going to take one card and then based off of the card, we are going to do a specific meditation for that card. Okay? I hope everyone is doing well. Full disclosure, I'm a little bit tired. I've been helping out a little bit more in a couple of different avenues, some initiatives that involve children. And I don't know if anyone has children that watches me or has like any siblings. Very rewarding, but my goodness, are you going to be tired? All right, so what we are going to do, we are going to cleanse our deck with our sound cleansing. So let's do that. And I hope everyone is doing good. And if you're not doing good, hopefully you feel better by the end of this, okay? So let's get into it. Beautiful. I'm going to ask our ancestors closest to the sun, our spirit guides, our angels, whoever it is that helps us to feel divinely protected, to be with us in this moment during this meditation. Any evil eye, negativity, monitoring spirits, or anything that just doesn't have any good intentions are not welcome here. You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here, okay? If there are negative intentions that are sent our way, that will get transmuted into peace, power, love, abundance, and all of the good things, okay? So, with that being said, we're going to pull our one card and then start our meditation based off of that. Okay. So let's do it. What should we focus on? What should we meditate on, guys? Let's see. Ace of Swords. Lovely, 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 lovely. Okay. I always forget. I'm so sorry. My tiredness has eluded me today. We're going to be using the Golden Art Nouveau deck by Julia Massaglia. So just got to shout the deck out. Give credit where credit is due. Okay. So, for our meditation, okay, so as always, we're going to read the energy and the symbolism in the card, okay? So, when it comes to aces or ones in the deck, this has to do with new opportunities, this has to do with new beginning, basically anything that can morph into something more solidified. And this has to do with a opportunity that involves a lot of mental insight. Okay. So this could be a creative writing idea. This could be something involving poetry. So the reason I'm saying like creative writing or poetry is when we are doing any type of rumination with our thoughts. Sometimes what will tend to happen is our overthinking might be a manifestation of creative energy that doesn't have anywhere to go. Okay. So when we pull cups, that has to do with our feelings and our emotions, right? So that's a little bit self-explanatory when we are allowing for the flow, right? So with swords, this has to do with our mental, okay? So if you have someone who is analytical or a little bit more like mentally wanting to get like what's the word? Wanting to get logical, wanting to be more structured, if you will. When I think of like mental with the swords, this has to do like a little bit less with like the feelings and a little bit more about like the processes and procedures. Okay. So this is kind of like where you will outline a paper, right? Versus with cups, you'll see a little bit more like we're not worried about the outline, we're just going to get everything onto the paper, almost kind of like a brain dump or like a mind map, and then the organization will come on its own, right? So this is like very much like a organization of thought, organization of mental energy. Okay. So this is a little bit more so like this has a little bit of like anxious energy, right? And again, anxiety is not a good or bad thing. It's kind of like our body's alarm system to be like, hey, there may be a threat. There might not be. I'm just giving you a heads up, right? Almost kind of like I'm the messenger. Do with what you will involving the information. All right. So for our meditation, something that we are going to focus on for today, we're going to focus on allowing for trusting the process. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So, with our Ace of Swords, we have a new beginning, a new opportunity, potential, new opportunity, new beginning, and a new idea that's going to involve writing. It's going to invite writing or journaling. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to get comfortable, relax, lean back in your chair. We're going to close our eyes in a moment. Okay. So before we do anything, if you are in a chair, I want you to grab the arms of the chair for me. Okay. Just kind of hang out there for a little bit. Don't squeeze, just like rest your hands there. Feel the material for me. Okay. So close your eyes with me. Okay. And let's just take a couple of deep breaths. And exhale. Good. Let's inhale one more time. And exhale. Inhale one more time for me. Hold it. Exhale. So I want you to start applying pressure to the back of your chair if you are seated. So I want you to just feel the boundary of the back of the support here, okay? I want you to lean into the chair, trust that the chair will support you. If your chair has arms, I want you to grab the arms of the chair and you're going to squeeze as tight as you can for 3, 2, 1, and then release the chair. Okay. If you are laying down, what I want you to do is squeeze your fists as hard as you can. 3, 2, 1, and release. And I want you to just notice from the top of your head and just start notice the sensations in your body as you move down, okay? So from the very top of your head, notice any feelings. Maybe there's tension. Maybe there is soreness. Maybe it's tight. Go past your neck. Notice your shoulders. What are we feeling here? Moving down the chest. Maybe we're feeling our heart race a little bit. Don't judge it, just notice. Just notice your body in this moment. Move down, noticing your stomach. Maybe there's some nervousness here. Maybe you're hungry. Validate those sensations. Don't push them away. Don't judge them. Just notice. Move past your hips, your lower back. Do we feel supported in general? Move down your body, by your knees, by your calves, past your ankles. And when you get to your feet, I want you to curl your toes, squeeze, 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 and release. Perfect. So now what I want you to do is give me a couple of deep inhales on your own. As you inhale, I want you to imagine words flowing through your mind, not good or bad. And I want you to exhale. As you exhale, I want you to notice the flowing of the words start to line up in an organized way, almost as if these words were floating past you in a straight line, almost organizing themselves, floating past you, and just landing on a piece of paper in front of you, okay? When you inhale, I want you to imagine some chaos involving your thoughts, involving words. Inhale, hold that. And as you exhale, noticing the chaos in the words, ideas, and thoughts start to just organize themselves, placing themselves where they need to be, organizing themselves in a way where you have to do little work. And your mind begins to trust itself a little bit more, categorizing the thoughts into what's important, what's not as important, and what's not important at all. And these words and thoughts are just organizing themselves. Okay. Keep breathing at a normal pace. I want you to imagine yourself in an environment that feels very calm, quiet, and peaceful. This could be a library. You're sitting at a table at the library, and you notice books and journals floating past you, almost as if being moved by an invisible, divine conveyor belt. Some books and words and pages going up and down, side to side, at a diagonal. And at first, this can feel a little bit disorienting. The chaos can make us feel a little bit anxious. But you just sit and notice this process in a non-judgmental manner, not assigning any meaning to this, not reading into this from past experiences, just noticing. And as you notice, the chaos begins to find a pattern. You notice that thoughts and words involving important items usually go in a up and down pattern or a diagonal pattern, fluctuating in and out priorities change, and therefore the thoughts and the words change. Even though it feels initially chaotic, somehow it seems to work itself out. And you lean into this place of learning, this place of knowledge, trusting that process. As you begin to sink into this now familiar process, even though it's a little bit unpredictable at times, you pick one pattern to help you feel grounded, noticing that you can only control yourself. As you have this realization, you lean into that mental energy and you begin to think of an idea. Now, this idea could be anything you want. This could be creating a poem. This could be writing a specific routine for yourself amidst this chaos of words and processes. Even though you don't know these specific processes, you stop to think about your own routine and how you can feel more in control amongst all of these flying books and words and knowledge floating past you, almost as if being moved by magic. I want you to imagine the beginning of this routine as something you know you're good at. So if you are thinking about this, okay, what is one process that you have down without having to even bat an eyelash? What have you mastered in terms of your mental? Okay. Get very clear on what this is. This could be sitting down for 10 minutes in the morning and writing down a list to help organize your thoughts. This could be as you're walking on a nature walk or at work or school, jotting down the first thing that comes to mind so that you have this to create a process later down the line. In this situation, timing is not as important as we think it is. To help create a process or a routine that makes sense for you, we first have to identify what does an average day look like for you, okay? Do you allow yourself to lean into the ideas when they come up? Or do we push them to the side and we focus on the groceries or your job or taking care of someone else, right? Notice that process for yourself. And I want you to write down 5 things that you will always do in your standard daily routine. This could be as simple as pick up the phone, send an email. This could be text back my friends. This could be finish the work items that I didn't get a chance to do. This could be write down that really cool script for a movie, right? This could be anything you want, but it has to be consistent every single day. And I want you to get very clear here. If you feel like, oh, there aren't 5 things that I do consistently in my daily routine, And what I want you to start to do is imagine a list of 5 things that someone you look up to does in their routine. So if it's a little bit unpredictable, I want you to imagine a role model or someone who inspires you and what their routine might look like. Okay. And you're going to model that for yourself. So with this new beginning, this intellectual idea, okay, I want you to think about something that helps you to feel neutral, okay? It's not good, you're not super excited about it, but it's also not bad. You're not dreading it. You don't have a negativity towards this. This could be any idea. I want you to go back to the image of books and words floating in various directions. And amongst that controlled chaos, I want you to pause and pick an idea. The idea could be anything. It could be a book idea. It could be an idea to help yourself feel more grounded. It could be a new idea involving how to feel more social. This could be anything you want, and this only has to resonate with you. Okay? Get very clear on this idea. If there's any images that pop to your mind, try to remember that down. And then in a little bit, when we come back to reality after this meditation, I want you to immediately write down what came up for you. And I want you to do this in a non-judgmental way. You're going to write down everything and anything that you imagined while watching the controlled chaos of the books and words and everything flying past you in this mental library, okay? Categorizing what's important, what's not as important, and maybe what's not important at all, okay? This is to help you identify when the brain and our thoughts get ahead of us and we start to put more emphasis on things that aren't necessarily important in this moment. Okay. I want you to keep breathing. Notice that controlled chaos of the books flying past. Notice the words start to organize themselves and find their own pattern. And as you are thinking of this idea, I want you to think about a new beginning. Almost imagining grabbing a blank book midair as it flies past you. And I want you to write the title of this book for yourself. What is this new beginning mentally? Are we no longer going to allow ourselves to sit in these thoughts for longer than a few minutes or an hour? Are we going to create a new idea and routine for ourselves based off of patterns that we noticed as we've been meditating? You have your book in front of you. Your idea is uniquely yours, and it only has to make sense to you. This is your journey. Remember that our intellect, our mental area can be developed as much or as little as we want. Your idea can be very small, it can be a big idea, and you're going to pick processes that make it feel more digestible, smaller steps, different sections, so that you don't feel overwhelmed. The same way we create our thoughts and we create these almost stories for ourselves, we can choose how much we do at a time. Okay. Like the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. When you're navigating your mental, when you're navigating the intellectual, our thoughts are not right or wrong, but they can feel like the absolute truth. Okay. Your thoughts are just thoughts. They're an accumulation of everything that you've been exposed to up until this point. From when we were very little, from friendships, from families, from things that we see on TV, to books that we've read. And they're not right or wrong. They're just there as information. And it's our job to be the librarian of our own mind, to categorize and organize what is truly important for us, what is important but maybe not as important, using that discernment, and then checking in with our inner truth to identify what's actually not as important and that we got lost in translation amongst the floating books and thoughts and information. Okay. You have your book in front of you. You have the start of an idea for how you want to be your own mental librarian and categorize your thoughts and the processes, what makes you who you are. Okay. You are complicated, and you have never just been your thoughts or your feelings or even just your behaviors. Okay. Let the judgments fall to the side and allow the thoughts to come freely. And when we allow them to come freely, we give ourselves permission and take back power to identify what is going to benefit us and what's going to benefit our future selves. Okay. So I'm going to invite you to continue to imagine yourself in this mental library. Okay. You have your book. Write down one word or one phrase that you're going to associate with the thoughts, the new idea, the process, or routine that we have been thinking about up until this point. Okay? You're going to gently close the book, and what you're going to do is you're going to put a bookmark in the book with that one word or the phrase, and that's what you're going to come back to. Okay? When you come back to it, it's going to be in the form of making little processes and procedures for yourself throughout the day outside of this mental library. Okay. So, what I'm going to have you do, imagine the library around you with the words and the books continuing to float on by. But this time, you've really adapted, and the control chaos doesn't phase you. You're almost desensitized to this at this point. You're going to inhale through your nose for me. Inhale. Hold that. Exhale. Good. As you exhale, I want you to start to imagine the room that you're in. Okay. So remember, if you were sitting in your chair, I want you to squeeze the arms of your chairs for 3, 2, 1, and release. Picturing the room, picturing the ceiling, any posters, any plants, identifying what is in the room with you, any furniture, books, anything like that. If you're laying down, I want you to imagine the bed Squeeze your fist, squeeze, 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 and release. Start to feel the material beneath you, okay? Notice the sensation of the fabric. Envision the door, envision any windows. And I want you to start to visualize the floor, grounding yourself back into our reality, okay? I want you to now, if you're sitting, put your feet on the floor, feel the material. If you have wooden floors, see how cool it is or how warm it is under your feet. If you are in bed, I want you to continue to touch the fabric. Is it cold? Is it smooth? Is it fuzzy? And now what we're going to do is we're going to slowly count back from 3. And then when we hit 1, I'm going to have you gently cover your eyes and we're going to flutter them open, okay? So 3, inhale for me. Really start to solidify the room that you're in. Notice your environment. 2, exhale. Feel the heaviness of your body in your chair or your bed. 1, I want you to bring your hands over your eyes. I want you to gently start to flutter them open, coming back into our room, looking at the room through your hands, through your fingers, reorienting yourself. Take as long as you need, and we're back. Great job. Thank you for sticking with me through that meditation. And now remember, because we meditated on the Ace of Swords, this is going to be any new beginning, any specific idea that comes to our mental or intellectual side. Okay? And you get to define what you categorize as mental or intellectual. Again, this could be learning, studying, this could be a poem, this could be a book, this could be anything that you associate with mental or intellectual health. Okay, it doesn't always have to be directly related to the creative side with our feelings, right? This can be very pragmatic, very organized. Okay. Thank you so much. You did great. You did amazing. I know that's not easy to just let yourself be and be still. So with that, I hope you have a amazing night or day whenever you're watching this. As always, you are divinely protected. If you stayed for the whole thing, you are a trooper. If you stopped by, I'm still very grateful for you. Thank you for your time, okay? And I hope you have an amazing, amazing day or night. Again, I'm just very grateful. It feels very surreal and my heart's very full to see, you stopping by and wanting to partake. It helps me to feel very connected and I don't have any words. I'm just very appreciated. Okay. So besides that, I'm still orienting myself. That was very relaxing. I almost fell asleep there. So what was I saying? Yeah, again, I'm just very grateful. Thank you so so much. Okay, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thank you. And then think about what that new creative process, intellectual process, idea, routine is for you. Okay, this is for you and you yourself, right? So this is uniquely yours, and there's no right or wrong answers. Okay, so. Yeah, that was fun. Thank you so much for taking the time. Okay. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.